Hey guys, Dr. Jake here. I wanted to just give an update on Zeke. Obviously, I'm at my office, so he's home. He's as healthy as can be expected at this point. First off, I just want to thank each and every one of you for your prayers and your thoughts and your kind words and your gestures of goodwill and just it's been so heartwarming to see everyone come around us together, just really demonstrating true community. That's what we wanted when we moved to Nebraska 4 years ago. I just wanted to update you all on his experience. I've told this story to so many doctors over the last 48 hours. It's just been mind-numbing. I still don't think I've emotionally processed everything yet. But I just thank God for where we're at right now and the people that have jumped in and contributed and have really helped us out in this process. But basically what happened is that Wednesday morning, Ezekiel was dropped off at daycare, and my wife had no reason to believe he was having any troubles. His sister had been a little rough with him that morning, but nothing beyond the normal. Our Annika Joy is sweet, but she's also very aggressive and rough. About 9:45, I get a phone call from my wife saying that Ezekiel had stopped breathing, and she was on her way over to the daycare. What she really meant to tell me was that she was on her way to the hospital. So I tried to meet her at the daycare, and they gave me a quick update there, but he had been transferred over to St. E's here in Lincoln, in an ambulance, the EMTs. He had quit breathing. They'd been able to resuscitate him, and they quickly transported him over. When I got to the emergency room, they were kind of informing us as to what the process was, but it was obviously he was going through something. With just my experience, it was obvious that he was having a seizure. They eventually just pinpointed it as a focal seizure and started the testing process to see what was going on. In the meantime, I went and started to hold him just because I knew he needed me, but my training kicked in, and I checked his atlas and I checked his spine, and his atlas was shoved way out to the right. It was almost visible just how far off it was. So I adjusted him. For those of you, my friends, that aren't familiar with an infant adjustment, it looked a little something like this. I was just rubbing the side of his neck right over top of that top bone. And as I did that, as I held him, he began to calm down. His breathing started to normalize, and they were able to kind of move out of the emergency protocols, even while still going through a lot of the emergency testing. They took a sample of blood, which took a while. They took a sample of, they ended up, after we transported, taking some cerebrospinal fluid to see if there was any meningitis. They ended up doing a CT scan at St. E's. They took chest x-rays at St. E's, and then they transported him out to Children's in Omaha. He did fine on the ride out there. He napped the whole way. All this had happened about nap time. When we got there, he was mad because he was hungry. He wanted to eat. He had breastfed at St. E's. And so those were all good signs. He was bouncing back to normal. There was no other signs of seizure-like activity since the adjustment. We continued to do tests. They continued to take blood and check different cultures and panels. Ultimately, they found nothing. They kept him overnight. So Wednesday night, all night, Kirsten slept in the hotel room, and unfortunately, due to COVID and hospital precautions, they would only allow one of us up with him at a time. And so it was just heartbreaking to have to be separated from him. I don't think I've cried as much in my adult life as I have over the last 48 hours. The next morning, they made him stop eating after 9:30 so that they could get him prepared to do an MRI under sedation. Both the neurologists and the epidemiologists and infectious disease, they all wanted to see that to rule out anything else that was going on. So they did that. They didn't see anything. They completed the spinal tap at that point. Didn't see anything. So that was pretty much it for the testing. Then it was just watching the cultures and the blood panels to see if anything developed or came back later. They wanted to make him wait overnight. At that point, Kirsten and I were fairly confident that what we were dealing with was just a severe subluxation. And, kept checking him. He appeared distressed anytime I touched the top of his neck, and he remained clear through the night. So it was obvious that there was some trauma to his spine. Probably his sister was rougher with him than should be allowed, and that's what happens with Annika right now. So we're going to be hyper vigilant with her and making sure that she's not allowed to be rough close to him, at least until he starts being rough back. But we were allowed to ultimately leave the hospital this morning. Just made the drive back here to Lincoln. And the only reason I'm at my office is because when it rains, it pours, and my mother-in-law locked herself out of her van, and so I'm waiting for AAA to get here to unlock it. So I wanted to keep you guys updated. I really appreciate everything that you guys have done to pray for us and be with us and come alongside of us. So many of you have offered meals and offered to help with the kids, and I genuinely, heartfelt appreciations for that. We've been praying constantly through this entire process, and a lot of those prayers have been prayers of thanks and gratitude and thanksgiving for just friends and family in the community like you. I want to give a special shout out to the child care at Christ Lincoln for being so responsive. Zeke did not go very much time without breathing. We know he did have some time without breathing, but it appears to have had no ill effects. They resuscitated him. He was crying before he got to the emergency room. And so I thank God for each of you over at Christ Lincoln, everyone from the workers in the daycare center to the daycare director who met us at the hospital and just kind of let everybody know what had happened, to Pastor Hutton, who met us at St. A's and prayed with us and just kind of gave us an opportunity to vent a little bit, and to my manager, April Garcia, just thank you so much for holding things down here at the office and getting everyone rescheduled. I thank God for my family and just the way they've come up and around us and been providing meals and gift cards, and those of you that have sent us money, just thank you so much. You don't know how much that means to us right now. So I'm going to cut this off before I start crying too much, but just know that you're loved and appreciated, and we thank you so much for that.